Good morning, good afternoon and good evening, wherever you are and whatever you're doing. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Today on the Things You Missed in Elden Ring series, we are going to be covering the Mountaintops of the Giants. I'm pretty sure this is going to have to be at least 3 parts because it is absolutely enormous, with 3 or 4 very big caves, a ton of bosses, a ton of quest lines, and so many other juicy items. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel by hitting the subscribe button to make sure you don't miss any future videos. And with that, I will meet you here at the Zamor Ruins Site of Grace, just to the northeast of the Grand Lift of Rold, and we'll start exploring the area. I already went through this initial area and took out all of the ancient heroes of Zamor, because they are incredibly powerful, and there's a lot of them. So you have to be super cautious taking them out, and it took a while, so I ran around and did that off camera. There's plenty of very high tier flowers throughout the whole of the Mountaintops of the Giants that you can loot if you wish, if you're doing much item crafting. Apart from them, the only few things of note in these ruins are the Zamor Ice Storm spell, just here at the end of this building. And then out and to the right hand side, you want to jump into the cellar and get the Smithing Stone Miner's Bell Bearing 3. Which will now let you get every single weapon up to plus 18 infinitely, because you can buy all of the smithing stones from tier 1 to tier 6. As we're heading out of the ruins to the east, I'm going to stop here and look to the right where you've got a few spectral birds on top of this broken wall. There was some immunizing cured meat here that I accidentally grabbed off camera, so make sure you grab that if you want. And then on this tree that looks kind of like an inverted sword, actually it looks scarily like an inverted sword, doesn't it? There was a scarab with a somber smithing stone 8, so make sure you take him out as well as you're running past. Now we'll continue progressing to the east. Be careful of the birds that are going to jump out and ambush you along the way, and there really is nothing of note during the next little bit of our journey apart from 4 smouldering butterflies just here. And as you leave this area towards the north, you'll see a load of fire monks. We're going to leave them for now and drop down this cliff, swing behind you, and you'll be in the Giants Mountaintop Catacombs. So we'll head in here. We'll be notified that the beast eye quivers, which means there's some death root in here. So light the Site of Grace, and in the next tip, we'll start going through the Giants Mountaintop Catacombs. Oh, where to begin with this one? I debated even putting this in the video and just either making it its own separate video, or even seeing if someone else had done it and linking you to it there, because it's a monster. So I will skim over it briefly because there's some quite cool items in here, but I won't make this a complete step-by-step as I have done for others, because for the most part it's just really long. There is just going to be a load of imps and a load of living jars in here, and until the later areas of the dungeon it's all pretty self-explanatory, but it does start to incorporate a few of the elements of other dungeons that we've seen before, such as hidden floors beneath lifts. So every time you go up or down a lift, check below you to make sure there's not a hidden floor, and also repeating floors, so it looks like you're back on the same floor again when actually you're in a completely different area. Also, there is a crazy amount of exploding living jars, just like you can see in this room with all the giant guillotines. The jars, combined with these giant blades plummeting from the ceiling every few seconds, make this room very deadly, and you're going to encounter this a few times in this dungeon. After a few more rooms of enemies, including this hallway with all the poison spewing plant things, not the Miranda flowers, the other guys, these ones, you will then finally be at the end of the first floor. Be careful of a giant living jar, and then just after you take out him, you can get yourself a ritual pot. Then you want to come back into the room beforehand and drop down the little hole in the floor here. Make sure you grab the nascent butterfly from the ledge, and then be careful of a few more explodey jars as you go down. This is the first time we're now on a different floor that looks exactly the same. Keep working your way through, and eventually you'll come to another corridor that looks exactly the same with all of the poison spewing plants. But this time, as you turn the corner, is an absolutely gigantic one. In the next room, you can use this arrow trap to cheese this giant living jar to death, because by this point, you're probably running low on supplies. Jump down the hole in the floor once again to get back down, and this is where I get lost for a few minutes, so I'm going to skip forward in time and show you where the lever is for this dungeon. Drop down onto the bottom level, and then instead of taking the stairs up, this time head out the northern exit to the room, send this lift up, and just below you, you'll find another giant living jar. We're going to drop down and take him out, and then on this ledge here, you'll get a golden rune 10, and you can finally pull the lever. Now we're going to call for the lift, take it up, and then pretty much directly in front of you at the end of this hallway on the left is the boss room. But before we do that, we're going to go and explore a whole other section to this dungeon. So head back to the east, and this lift that originally brought you down, if you tread on it, will go down even further. So as you're coming into this room, you'll see a fanged imp in front of you that you can very easily sneak up behind and backstab. And then just round the corner will be a super powered Erdtree Burial Watchdog with a crazy powerful magic staff. But we've killed enough of them by now, right? This is easy. I'm definitely not gonna die. Again, and again, and again. Oh, he's a challenge. Holy crap, watching this back, I died to him so many more times than I realised. There we go. Right, and when he's finally been taken down, you can swing round under the stairs here and grab a Grave Glove War 8. Now carry on down this hallway, and I'm going to have an absolute clusterfuck of a few seconds where I manage to get hit by the frost from the statue, then trigger a trap and get hit by the arrows, and then very narrowly miss being murdered by this fanged imp that jumps out on me. I don't know how the hell I survived that series of events, but Jesus, that was stressful. Be very careful as you're traversing these frost-breathing statues, and you will find another Erdtree Burial Watchdog at the end here. You can use the statues to your advantage and actually trigger one of them back up again to help you take him out. And then, I don't know if this is a guaranteed drop, but he gave me the Watchdog's Greatsword, and also at the end of the room you can get the Fire Monk Ashes. Now that we're done with this little side area, we'll head back up the lift into the boss room and instantly get destroyed by the ulcerated tree spirit. Let's go back down and try that again. I won't show you much of the fight because we fought plenty of these by now. You're not missing anything. It's the same as it always has been, and you'll get a golden seed and the Glovewort Picker's Bell bearing too. Make sure you grab the death root before you leave this dungeon, and finally we're done so we can continue on with the next part of the video. Wait, am I... Oh, fuck. Just humming along to myself. It turns out I've clicked record. Alright then, as we leave the dungeon, we're now going to start taking out the fire mug enemies that we saw previously. Luckily, they all get one-shotted by the comet spell. I even managed to get 2 for 1 here. And then you can grab the 3 Arteria Leaf from this corpse. And now there's going to be a fairly quick fight where I just get absolutely murderized by this dude. I even summon my Mimic Tear halfway through, and God knows what he's doing, but I can tell you what he's not doing. Helping. Twat. Alright, so let's die and try that again. Going to be more cautious as we take them out this time. And then right at the end here, you can get the Briars of Punishment spell, which is a more powerful version of, I believe it's called the Briars of Sin. I'm now just going to spend a minute here making sure we haven't missed anything, but I can assure you nothing was missed, and we'll start making our way across this incredibly precariously put together bridge. During the first half of it, you're absolutely safe, there's no need to rush, and you can go and grab the Lost Ashes of War off the corpse on this chair here. But during the second part of the bridge, I advise you sprint across it. Halfway through, you can jump off to the left and hide behind this broken pillar here, and that will allow you to dodge the first arrow from the giant. And then I advise you sprint across the rest of the bridge and go and take him out before you jump down and grab this loot, or this will happen. So now that he's just done that to us, it's payback time. And whilst I'm murderizing his face, I'd just like to say, Ezo Games, thank you so much for following over on Twitch. And everyone else, if you're not already, why not? We're currently doing a 100% complete playthrough over on twitch.tv/Dom's Roundtable, and we're probably going to be doing a few streams where we practice my Rune Level 1 run before it then gets uploaded to YouTube. So now that the giant's dead, keep heading north and we can take out this scarab, which will reward us with a Somber Smithing Stone 8. And then just a little bit further north will be the ancient Snow Valley Ruins Site of Grace. We grabbed that during the previous video when we were doing Juno's questline, so I'll meet you there for the next tip. As you can see, Millicent is here with me. We'll ignore that for now though, and I'll cover her properly in her questline, which hopefully will be coming soon. And we're just going to head north out of this chasm and go and explore the 2 points I've marked on the map to the east. Feel free to ignore these giants, they are really not worth your time. So much health for so little reward. So we'll swing round to the southeast here and grab ourselves a golden seed, and then we'll head all the way to the northeast and you'll see a statue that needs breaking. So we'll wake up this giant and make him come over here and smash it up for us. And as soon as we've grabbed the 3 Smithing Stone 7, we're then going to get out of this chasm just over to the north hand side, grab this Site of Grace and rest up to de-aggro him, which will take us into the final part for this video. Directly east from the site of grace that we just rested at, we can start traversing into this beautiful frozen lake. And just by these few trees here, you'll see an invisible scarab running around. So using your weapon or spell of choice to take out these guys, as you can see here, I opted for the nebula weapon art. With the right timing, you'll take him out and you'll get the Ash of War Seppuku, which is not one I've used before, but I actually see a bunch of people when using the builds to like fully maximize the damage and really min-max the damage output of their character, always using this, so I might have to give it a go. Anyway, once he's dead, we're just going to start running southeast, and very soon a great mist will descend and you will not be able to see more than a few feet in front of you. So I'm going to summon my Mimic Tier and prepare for Borealis the Freezing Fog. I advise to use very different tactics to what I did for this boss fight. The closer you stay to him, the less he's going to use his freezing breath attacks, and they are so lethal. The one thing I would advise right at the start of the fight is run away a bit, and eventually the freezing mog... The freezing mog? What even is that? And eventually, the frozen fog around you will start to evaporate and you'll actually be able to see the battlefield again, which is really going to help. You can pretty much fight him like you do with most dragons, but he is definitely one of the stronger ones in the game, so just be careful as you're taking him out. My Mimic Tier really did not do anything to help me in this one. Absolute waste of bloody time. And once he dies, you will get 100,000 runes and a dragon heart. With that, we are done with part 1 of the Mountaintops of the Giants, so I'll leave it there and we'll continue exploring in the next one in just a day or two. As always, I hope you have an absolutely amazing day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!